I'm Jolene Wynn, and this is the Porn Addict's Wife podcast, episode number 119, Making Decisions and Taking Action. Your life does not have to revolve around your husband's pornography addiction. You are not defined by his choices or by what he sees on the screen. You are not just the porn addict's wife. You are so much more. In this podcast, I'm going to teach you how to go from handling it to healed, because I've been where you are and you don't have to stay there. My name is Jolene Wynn. I'm a member of the LDS faith, a certified life coach, and a wife of a former porn addict. And this is a podcast for the porn addict's wife. All right, my ladies, I am so excited to talk to you guys today. I had a great week. My birthday was this weekend, and it was so fun, and I had such a great time. My parents were in town, and the thing that I always like to do for my birthday, the thing that I want is just to spend time with my people. And that's exactly what I got to do on my actual birthday. My son had a soccer game, which he won, and he scored a goal, and that was really fun. And we got ice cream with the kids, and we went out to dinner and went shopping, and all of that was great. But really, the thing that I always want to do on my birthday is just be with my twin sister. That's always what I want to do, which hasn't always happened on my birthday when we've been married and, in grad school and different things like that. So this was always my goal, is to be with my sister on our birthday and then to just spend it with my people, which is always so fun to do. So that's what we got to do for my birthday, and it was amazing. And I am 34, and my my daughter told me yesterday, she was like, "You don't look 34, you look so much younger." So of course, I loved her so much for that. And it was just a great weekend. So thank you for those of you guys who sent me a message on Instagram wishing me a happy birthday. That was really fun. And it was a great birthday. So thank you. So I did want to remind y'all of a couple of things. Number one, my book is coming out September 6th, which is coming up. I'm so excited. And in celebration of that, I am doing book launch coach week, which just means that I'm celebrating my book launch by doing Coach Week, which is a week of free coaching. So come join me. All you have to do is head to my website, jolenewynn.com. You can sign up for the free coaching week by going to the Coach Week tab. All the details are there. You just have to register so that I can send you the Zoom link, because it is all done via Zoom. So again, go to jolenewynn.com, go to the Coach Week tab, and that is where you can register totally for free, and you can come join me. We're going to start Tuesday, September 6th, and we'll go through Friday the 9th, and we will do a free coaching call every single day. I'm going to do some giveaways in celebration of my book. It's going to be so much fun. So again, come join me, and we will do a week of free coaching, and I will help you figure out where you guys are getting stuck, and I will help you move through it. So you can come anonymously if you would like. You can come, you can turn your video on, leave it off, whichever you choose to do, whatever you feel comfortable with. And if you know that you can't make the time, but you want to see the content, you want to watch the videos, then go ahead and register, because all the calls will be recorded and you will have access to them. So even if you can't come live, come register so that you can join us afterward. The other thing that I wanted to mention is Nashville. We had some more ladies sign up for Nashville. I'm so excited about this retreat, and I want you guys to come join me. So if you've been thinking about coming to Nashville with me in October, then I want to encourage you guys to go to my website and sign up. Again, all you have to do is head to jolenewynn.com. There's an events tab that you can go and you can find all the details there, and you can register. That is a 3-day in-person live retreat in Nashville, Tennessee, and I cannot wait. That is going to be so fun. If there is something that you feel like you are stuck on, especially if you feel like you're not enough, if you feel like what you're doing isn't enough, if you feel like you keep hitting a brick wall, this is the event for you. We're going to spend 3 days entirely focused on you and blowing past the things that are keeping you stuck. And we're going to do it in the most amazing location at this beautiful Airbnb. You're going to have one-on-one time with me, and imagine where you could be if you just gave yourself 3 days completely dedicated to yourself. If nothing else, that should be reason enough. So go to jolenewynn.com, go to the events tab. You can find all the details there, and you can sign up today. Again, there's only 15 spots. So this is a very intimate gathering. So if you know that you want to come, sign up today. And you can ask for it. Give me an early Christmas present, a belated birthday present, whatever you want to do. I did have one of my a woman that signed up, she emailed me and said, I'm so excited. I just signed up. My mom gave it to me as a belated birthday present. So it was perfect. So good. So ask for it for Christmas, ask for it for your birthday. We are going to have the best time, and I want you guys to be there. So come join us. The other thing that I wanted to mention real quick is that my husband and I are continuing our men's group. So we started a men's group in April, and we ran it from April to August. We only have a couple weeks left of it. It's almost done. And we have decided to continue that. So my husband is spearheading this. This is pretty much his program. And he is launching it just the same way that ours is. So it is, or the way that mine is rather. So it's kind of an evergreen that you can join at any time. So if your husband is struggling with pornography and wants help with it, then he can sign up online today. So on my website, again, jolenewind.com, there is now a tab that says men's group. It has all the details there, all the pricing, and the link to sign up, and he can sign up right away. So that is now open for enrollment. And we are so excited to have some new men start filling in this group and for it to just keep going forward. I'm so excited about it. So again, if your husband is struggling with pornography and he wants help and wants to come join our group, now is the best time to do it. He can also, if he wants to sign up for a consultation call first, go ahead and do that through my website. You can always sign up through a consultation call, either you or your husband. If you go to my website, jolenewind.com, at the very top, there's a little bar that says sign up for a free consultation call today. Click on that and you can sign up for one for yourself, and then he can sign up for one for himself. And either my husband or I will do the consultation call with him for the men's group too. So, and ladies, if you haven't signed up for a consult call, let's do it. Like, let's chat and let's figure out where you are and what your thoughts are and what's holding you back. Let's talk all the details. That's all you have to do. And it's totally free. So go sign up for that call, and then you get to chat with me on the phone, and we will figure out how to move you forward. So let's do it, ladies. Okay, ladies, let's talk today about making decisions and taking action. I was inspired to do this podcast because of something I decided last week. So I am going to share a personal experience with y'all at the end of this. So stay tuned at the end of this episode. But I wanted to talk today about this because this is super important. There are so many things that we want to do in our life. Think about the thing that you want to do that you haven't done yet. Just take a minute. What is something you want to do, but you haven't done yet? Whether that is changing your job, quitting your job, going back to school, right? If you want to start a new hobby, maybe you've always wanted to take swing dance lessons. Maybe you want to join my coaching program. Maybe there's another program that you want to join. Think about the thing that you want to do, but you haven't done yet. That's what I want you to keep in mind today as I'm talking. Okay. Now let's talk about, I named this in two parts, making decisions and taking action. And it's super important because there are two pieces to this. It's not just about making the decision or wanting it, but you also have to do the second part, which is taking action. And a lot of times what happens is that we do the first part and not the second. A lot of times our brain says, I really want to do this thing. And we even kind of make it a decision rather than just a want. We say, I'm going to go back to school. And that sounds like a decision that we've made. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to go back to work. And it sounds, I'm going to join that program. I'm going to sign up for that gym membership. We say it like that, and it's almost as if we've made the decision. However, a decision without action, when you make a decision and you haven't acted on it, is not a decision at all. It's just a dream. Okay? When you have decided something and you haven't taken action on it, it's not really a decision. It's more of a hope. It's more of a wish. It's more of a dream, a fantasy. And it's really appealing because what happens is when you say it that way, when it's not just, oh, I would love to go back to school. When you say, I'm going back to school, if you've not taken the action in order to make that a reality, it sounds really nice. It feels very good. It feels like you're moving forward, but you're not actually moving forward. And it kind of keeps it just right out of your reach. It keeps it just far enough away from you that it feels real, but it's also far enough away that you don't actually have to do anything scary in order to make it happen. Do I see what I'm saying? But the problem is the way that you're going to actually know if you're doing this or not is by the results that you've created. So if you haven't actually joined school again, if you haven't actually signed up for school again, then you haven't actually made that decision and taken action. You've just decided, you've just said something really nice to yourself that sounds great, but it's not actually getting you where you want to go. Does that make sense? It's like the decision that we make every Monday to start over on losing weight. It's like, today is the day I'm starting over. I'm going to lose weight. Today is the day. Here it is. I have decided that I'm going to recommit myself to looking and feeling great in my body. And I'm not going to eat sugar or flour. And I'm going to cut out all soda and drinks and all the things. And I'm starting over. Well, when we decide that, that sounds really nice in our brains. But if we don't actually take any action toward it, then it's not actually a reality. It's just this fantasy. This is the year. Have you guys ever done this on New Year's Eve, right? This is the year that I'm going to do all the things. I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to, renew my relationship with God. I'm going to go on date nights every week. And we make all of these decisions, quote unquote, but we don't actually take any action. And so then those decisions are just fantasies. And again, they feel really good. Our brain really likes it when we phrase it this way because it feels like we're actually doing something. It feels really good. No, I would do it. I am going to do it, just not yet. I can't do it yet. You guys ever said this? I have heard this so many times with so many of my clients for things they want to do. No, I am going to do it. I just have to wait until the kids start school. I just have to wait until the kids leave the house. I just have to wait until I get my bonus. I just have to wait until whatever it is. And that, again, keeps that fantasy close enough that it feels like we're going to move forward, but it prevents us from actually having to take any of the action. Does this make sense? And again, ladies, the reason that you're going to know this is by looking at the results in your life. Have you actually produced any results that are going to get you closer to that thing that you actually want to do? And if the answer is no, then you're not actually you haven't actually made the decision to do it. It's still a fantasy, still a hope, still a wish, still a dream. Okay. There are two parts from getting you where you want to go, or from where you are to where you want to go. Two parts. One is making the decision and the second is taking action. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about today is that taking action part. Okay. Because again, you cannot. Making a decision is great, but all it is a sentence in your mind until you've actually taken the action. And most of us don't do the second part, the taking action part. And without that, that decision is just a fantasy. Okay. Taking action, what I want to offer to y'all is that sometimes we think that taking action on this thing that we've always wanted to do is going to be really fun and really exciting and like Christmas morning. It's going to be the dream come true. Because think about it. If you have said all of your life that you want to do something, then you would think that taking action toward that thing is going to be so exciting. Most often, it's not. Okay. And let me explain this. More than we think, taking action that gets us from where we are to where we want to go, or in fulfillment of something that we've always wanted, rather than it being full of excitement and fun, which sometimes it is, more often, it's typically filled with anxiety and insecurity and fear and self-doubt because we are doing something we've never done before. So it's going to happen that all of our fears and our doubts and insecurities are going to come to the surface because what's comfortable, what doesn't have anxiety is staying exactly where we are. But when we do something that moves us forward, when we do something that shifts us from where we are to where we want to go, it's not going to be Christmas morning. It's going to be first day of high school anxiety. You guys see what I'm saying? Have you guys ever felt that in your life? Have you guys ever think about a time where you've made a decision and taken action on it where it's super fun? And then I want you guys to think about a time where you've made a decision and taken action where there was a lot of anxiety, whether that was trying a new sport, right? Trying out for a sports team or for a solo in choir, or for me, like it was, I'm going to give you guys an example in a minute, but it could be writing a book, starting a blog, doing an Instagram live for the first time, whatever it is, there's going to be self-doubt and insecurity and fear because it's taking you from where you are to where you want to go. And the thing that is in between where you are and where you want to go is all of those things. It's all your fears and insecurities and self-doubt and anxiety. That's why you haven't done it yet. So moving, in order to get from where you are to where you want to go, you got to move through it. So you got to feel it. And a lot of times we just want to skip that part. We think, no, we shouldn't have to feel all of that. Maybe that means I shouldn't do it. That's your primitive brain talking. Okay. And we expect that moving forward is going to be full of all these amazing emotions. So when we don't feel that, we think it means that we shouldn't do it. And I want to offer to you guys today that that's not the case. In fact, if you're feeling fear and self-doubt and insecurity and worry, then you're probably headed in the right direction. Okay? Because that's the thing that's going to get you where you want to go. Okay? Let me keep thinking here of what I want to talk about next. Isn't this fun? The thing that is tricky about our brains is that our brain is designed to keep us alive. So at the end of the day, if we're alive, our brain says, job well done. I have succeeded in life. I need to do nothing else. The problem with that is that usually, even if we're emotionally exhausted, our brain thinks we've done a good job. Our brain says, excellent. I get an A+ for the day. I don't need to do anything else. Wash my hands. Totally good. Even if you're miserable. Even if you haven't done the thing that you've wanted to do, your brain thinks that's totally fine because your brain wants to stay in the cave. Your primitive brain is designed to keep you alive, which means let's stay right here in our comfort zone, even if that comfort zone is miserable and not where you want to be. So this is when you need to be in charge of your brain and notice that that's what it's doing. Now, here's what's going to happen. Think again when I said, like, if reflect back to the beginning when I said, think of that thing that you want to do that you haven't done yet, right? Whether that's coming to Nashville, joining my coaching program, joining a gym, going back to school, quitting your job, homeschooling your kids, whatever it is, that thing that you want to do that you haven't done yet, this is what I want you to think about. Okay, the first thing that's going to happen is your brain's going to send up a whole round of objections. I call these surface objections. Okay, I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. They sound extremely responsible, and here's what they look like: time, money, and energy. That's it. Those are the three objections. And those are the ones that your brain is going to offer you first. Your brain's going to say, oh, I would do that. Remember going back to the beginning where you make a decision, but you don't actually act on it because they don't have enough time, right? This is when you say, I'm going to go back to school when my kids all leave the house, right? I'm going to go get a job once my kids are all in school. I am going to join the gym when we have extra money to do so, or once my Christmas bonus comes through, or once we get our tax return, or once there's more money in the budget. There's not money in the budget for that thing right now that I really want to do, so we're not going to do it. Maybe if I save for a couple of years, or maybe in a couple of years, our bills will go down, maybe once we pay off the car, right? All of these things, or I don't have enough energy for this. I've already spread thin. There's no way I could add something else. So maybe once things calm down, then I'll do it. Again, that sounds like a decision, and it sounds really responsible, and it sounds really nice. And all it is your brain wanting to stay in the cave. That's it. All of those things, time, money, and energy, all of those things are just objections that your primitive brain is having because it doesn't want you to do the thing that it's scared of doing. That's it. And if you allow it, your primitive brain will always say, time, money, and energy are more important. Those are responsible, and you will agree with your brain and you will stay exactly where you are, which again, there's nothing wrong with where you are unless that's not where you want to be. So if you don't want to be where you are, then you have to be able to look at those and see that that's all they are just surface objections. Now, when I say surface objections, what I mean is this is just your brain wanting to stay where you are. And so your brain is offering you some very responsible, adult sounding objections, but they're just the surface because what's actually underneath of those is the real objection. So let me offer you this. Let me give you an example. When you, for example, money is a huge one, right? And it sounds, again, super responsible, right? When we have an objection, when we, let's say, want to go back to school and you say, okay, well, I want to go back to school, but I need to wait until we have money for it. Again, sounds great. But what if you were able to work through it? Let's just say, I mean, you could go to the bank and you could get a loan. You could put it on a credit card. You could ask your parents for a loan. You could go get some student aid. You could get a job, a part-time job, in order to pay for the tuition. There are so many options. People pay for school all the time who have no money to do so. There are so many options. There's student aid and there's grants that you could apply for. And there's, really low student loan payment programs that you could do. There's so many things. And so if you actually took the time to work through that objection and said, okay, I want to go back to school. And if I started in September, how would I do it? Let me look up how much it is to start one class. One class, just one. How much is one class? And how could I pay for it? Well, there you go. You've already worked through the money objection. You're like, okay, it's going to be $2,500. Oh, look, here is the student loan program, and I could pay $200 a month until it's done. I could totally do that. Okay, so now we've worked out the money objection. What comes up once the money objection is gone? Well, it's probably going to be time. I don't have enough time once you work that out, because you're never going to have, ladies, spoiler alert, you are never going to have more time than you do today. Do you want to know why? It's because there's always 24 hours in a day. What we mean when we say that we don't have enough time is we mean we're too busy. And busy is just a state of mind. So when your brain says, I don't have enough time to do this, that's just your brain being lazy and doesn't want to figure it out and doesn't want to do the hard and scary thing that you want to do. So it says, I don't have time to do it. You are never going to have any more time than you do right now. Ever. There's always going to be 24 hours in a day. So if that is the thing that is preventing you from doing what you want to do right now, I want you to just tell your brain to shut up, and I want you to do it anyway, because you're never going to have more time. So your brain, if you work through the money objection, it's going to bring up time, and then it's going to bring up energy, right? All of those things. And once you work through all of those, then come the real objections. That's why I call those surface objections, because those are just your brain not wanting you to face what's actually underneath, which is fear, self-doubt, insecurity, and anxiety. What if they don't like me? What if I'm bad at it? What if I fail? What if this doesn't work for me? What if this doesn't get me where I want to go? What if I hate it? Right? Those are the real fears. And that is what you want to look at. That is what's actually preventing you from being where you want to be, are those ones. It's not the surface objections. It's the real objections that are underneath. So that's what I want to encourage you guys to look at today, right now, as soon as you end this podcast or even press pause. What I want you to do is think about that thing that you want to do and allow your brain to come up with all the objections. Write them down. I guarantee you that the first ones are going to be those surface objections, and they're going to sound really responsible, and they're going to seem like they make a lot of sense to listen to. And what I want to offer is that you look underneath them. What if I was able to figure all of this out? Let's just pretend that I magically had all the money to do whatever I wanted to do. Then what? What comes up? And allow yourself to look at it and write them all down. Okay, that's the real objection. Now, again, your primitive brain usually stops at the first objections. Okay, it wants to stay in the cave because you are alive, job well done. That's all it has to do. So as long as a first objection comes up, one of those surface level objections, as long as one of those comes up, your brain stops there. Oh, I would do that thing, or I'm going to do that thing. Again, it sounds like a decision. I'm going to do that thing, but I have to wait until ... Okay, that's what it sounds like when it's still just a fantasy. Okay, now this is when you need to be in charge of your brain. You decide to do something and then you act in spite of all of those objections that come up underneath, in spite of all of those emotions, because that's all they are. Self-doubt, anxiety, insecurity, fear, those are just emotions, ladies. And that's what is preventing you from having the life that you want to have, from doing the things that you want to do, from being the woman that you want to be, is emotion. Okay, if you don't know how to handle your emotions, if you don't know what to do with them, that's why I exist. This is what I teach in my coaching program, is how to feel those emotions and do things anyway. That's the where you start. You allow yourself to feel the emotion, but you don't act in accordance to them, because fear tells us stop. And anxiety tells us stop and overthink. Okay. And worry tells us to stop and stew and overthink and stress. And self-doubt says maybe you can't do this, and it wants us to stop until we're confident that we can. Those are all of our emotions. If we listen to our emotions and only act in accordance with them, that's where we get to a place where we don't love our life. This is when we are exhausted emotionally. This is when we are miserable, because we are allowing our life to be run off of anxiety and self-doubt and fear. If you don't want a life that's run off those things, what you need to do is learn how to feel them and do things anyway. Does that make sense? I want to give you guys a couple of examples now. This one came up, one that came up this week, and they've all come up in the last couple of months, and to really help you clarify and understand what this is. Okay. So the first one came up a couple of months ago when I did a special class that was hosted by Brooke Castillo in the Life Coach School. She was doing a deep dive masterclass, and it was amazing. And she said, when you sign up, this class is $5,000. You can sign up and you'll get just access to the class, or you can pay $10,000 and you'll not only get the class, but then afterward, we're going to do a weekend at my house in Colorado, and you get to come and be in the room, and we're going to continue that, and we'll have a, 2-person in-day training. And I looked at that and I said, that would be phenomenal. I'm scared out of my mind. So what did I do? I did not sign up for the in-person thing. I signed up for the class. I paid $5,000. I did the class. It was amazing. And I did not do the in-person event because I was too scared. Then a couple of weeks later, I went to an in-person Ed Milet live conference, and it was amazing. He was celebrating the launch of his book, and it was so good. And during that event, they did a bonus where if you paid X amount of dollars, I can't remember what it was, but it was like $15,000 or $20,000, then you would get all of these bonus things, and you would get to fly out and do an in-person event with Ed Milet at his house in California. And once again, I said, it's not the money. I would sign up for this yesterday. Even if I didn't have the money, I would put that on a credit card, because I know the value of being in the room with these kind of people. But I'm too scared. And I sat there, ladies, I am a coach. I sat there and I processed my anxiety and tried to take action anyway. And I did not. Again, it was making a decision without taking action, which just keeps it a fantasy. I would do that if I wish I could. That answer right there, ladies, is never. That is a giant red flag. I wish I could. You can. How are you going to do it? Or are you choosing not to, which is also fine. But ladies, don't live your life in I wish. It's not real. That's just living a fantasy, because it's not true. You can do anything you want. You just have to decide to make it happen, or own the fact that you're not, which is fine. Most of the time we don't want to do that because we have a lot of self-judgment in that. We have a lot of self-judgment when we make decisions, when we decide not to do things. There's no self-judgment required, ladies, but own it, because otherwise you're just going to live your life in a world where you're not really taking action, and you're also not taking responsibility for it. You're not taking responsibility for your action or your inaction. And without responsibility, you're not going to go anywhere, because you're going to live a victim to the circumstances of your life. You're going to live a victim to time, a victim to money, a victim to energy, a victim to responsibility, or to your spouse, or to your job, or to whatever it is that you think that you are claiming is preventing you from doing the thing that you want to do. Okay. Let me guys give you an example of what came up this week and what inspired this podcast. Okay. So last year, I was in Jody Moore's Business Minded coaching program. It was phenomenal. It was $2,000. I signed up last year and it was great. It was monthly coaching calls and a course, and kind of very similar to what you guys do with me. And I loved it. It was fantastic. And I knew last year she was doing a small mastermind. I'm not sure how many women or how many coaches she had, or she doesn't just do coaches, but how many people she had in that mastermind. I wasn't totally sure. but I knew that it existed, that some people had paid more and she was doing, a small group mastermind with them. And so I knew that that could be a possibility when she opened up for enrollment again. So last Wednesday, I got the email. It said Business Minded is open again. You guys can enroll. And I was so excited. And I said, I'm totally doing it again. It was absolutely worth it. And I was curious about the mastermind. And so when I got the email, I looked and it said, this mastermind is $25,000. It's a group of 25 people and we do it for a year. Here's all the things you get. And included what we do are 3 in-person events that are held throughout the year. They're 3 live, 3-day each trainings, mastermind events that we do. And I freaked out. Again, I said I would have signed up for this yesterday, except for those in-person events. And I know that this is ironic because I'm so excited about the in-person event that I'm hosting, which is why this is so crazy, right? Our brains are nuts, okay? So I looked at that and I said, man, I would do this, but I'm so scared about those in-person events. So I talked to my husband about it and he was trying to talk me through it a little bit. And we talked about the money because that was another thing too. It was $25,000, you guys. I was like, or I could go buy a car. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money. It's not an insignificant amount. And I thought, okay, I can't pay for that all up front, but they do have a payment plan. So again, that's my first objection that came up, right? This is my surface objection. My brain says, well, what about the money? Okay, so I overcame the money objection because I said, okay, they have a payment plan. Here's what I would have to make every single month in order to do that. Here's how I would do it. That is possible. Okay, so money objection taken care of. Time objection, I didn't really have because I knew I could figure that out. 3 in-person, 3-day trainings. I could get a babysitter. I have no problem with that. Maybe my husband would be available. I'm not totally sure, but we could work that out. I can hire a babysitter. So the time is okay. And I didn't have an energy objection, although my brain is a little bit worried. Not worried, but my brain is knowing that I am going to have to plan and schedule this out a little bit more because I have 5 kids I'm homeschooling this year. So I have 5 homeschoolers. I've got my regular coaching business. And then I also have now this mastermind that I would be doing. But I knew I could work all of that out. I just needed to plan and schedule. It was totally doable. So once all of those surface objections were things that I had worked out in my mind, that's when the real objections came up. So Thursday morning, I still hadn't signed up for this, even though I knew that a year from now, I would say, yes, that was totally worth it. And if I think about myself 5 years from now, I would say, absolutely go invest in this because you're going to learn at least one thing that'll make it worth it. And if nothing else, taking 9 days out of this year to 100% focus on my business and myself, that alone is going to produce so many results because I'm not doing that now. Can you imagine how much more I could expand and how much more growth I could experience if I dedicated 9 whole days where I did nothing else but look at my business? Oh, that alone is worth $25,000. So I knew all of this and I had all of these thoughts and still I hesitated. And I sat down in a chair on Thursday morning and I filled out all of my credit card information and I did not press register and I set my phone down and I just sat there and I was so anxious. Ladies, like overwhelmingly so. And I had tears in my eyes. And the thing that finally made me hit register was this thought. I thought, you know what? This is going to force me to look at things that I will never look at on my own. And that's when I clicked register and that's when I signed up. Now, I know that that's not going to be the thought that works for all of you, but sometimes, ladies, the thing that is keeping you where you are, the thing that is preventing you from going where you are to where you want to go is the stuff that you don't want to look at. It's the hard stuff. It's the fear and the self-doubt and the insecurity and the worry and the anxiety, all of that. And it's so hard to look at. And sometimes you're going to have someone who helps you, who forces you to look at it, who forces you to step on the scale, who forces you to take a look inside at the things that you don't want to look at, but you know are the things that are in your way from becoming where you want to go. That is what you need. That is what I need right now in my business. I know that in order to get from where I am in my business to where I want to go, if I want to be as big and as influential as I want to be, which I do because I want to go help all the women, then I'm going to have to face the things that are preventing me from being there already. And sometimes I'm going to need help doing that. because my brain is going to be really strong and really powerful and say, you know what? I don't want to do this. That's what's happened so far. There are things that I know that I need to look at in my business, know that I need to shift, and I haven't done it because I don't want to, because it's too hard. And this is going to force me to do it. And if for no other reason, I am grateful that I signed up, because just even making that decision and making that shift has already made so much progress in myself, because I faced something I didn't want to face. I did something I didn't want to do. And that makes me a stronger version of myself than I was before I signed up. I didn't give in. I didn't make a decision out of anxiety and fear. In fact, I felt the anxiety and the fear, and I cried for, like 5 minutes afterward. I just cried because I was so anxious. And this is what I go back to when I started the podcast, and I said, sometimes making decisions and taking action doesn't look like Christmas morning. Writing a book was kind of like Christmas morning. It was super fun. I didn't have a lot of anxiety. I did have some anxiety at certain parts, but it coming out on September 6th it makes me excited. That's the Christmas morning part. But having someone else read it and, write all of the edits, and then having me, I told you guys, ladies, I didn't open that email for days after they sent me an email of my manuscript with all the edits they had done. I was so nervous about what I would see that I didn't even open it for days. That is the decision stuff I'm talking about, ladies. Just like this weekend, the decision to join a mastermind and pay $25,000 and commit ahead of time to these in-person events that scare me out of my mind. That's the stuff that moves me forward. Ladies, I want you to take the time to think about it. The thing that you want to do that you're not doing, that's going to get you where you want to go, that's going to produce that result that you want, that's going to help you lose the weight or get the job or make the money or join the program, whatever it is. Ladies, it's not going to always look like Christmas morning. Sometimes there's going to be a lot of anxiety, a lot of self-doubt, and a lot of fear. What I want to offer to you today, ladies, is that you feel the fear and you take action anyway. And look at where you're lying to yourself in your life. It's a little bit of a tough love episode, ladies, okay? Look at where you're lying to yourself in your life. Because when you say, I'm going to do it, and you have no action to make it happen, it's just a fantasy. And you deserve better than a life full of fantasies. You deserve a life where you actually get to create the life of your dreams. But that takes moving through the fear, moving through the anxiety, doing the things you don't want to do, the ones that are scary, being in charge of your brain so that you don't listen to your brain when it says, stop, we shouldn't do that, we should stay in the cave, and taking action in spite of that fear so that you get the life that you want. You get the life you deserve. If you guys aren't living the life you deserve, I know that that's a thought that comes up a lot for my ladies, is I don't deserve this. Well, the only way that you're going to get what you do deserve is by making it happen. You're not a victim to your life, ladies. You're not a victim to time or money or energy or your husband or your job or your kids. You're not a victim. And if that's true, then what? That means you're in charge. Not only are you in charge of your life, you're in charge of your brain. And that's where it all starts. I love you, ladies, so much. I want you to take action. I want you to make a choice today, make a decision, and take action on it. And if that's coming to Nashville, go sign up today. If it's joining the group, then come join me today. Whatever it is, ladies, I want you to make a decision and take action and feel all the fear and do it anyway. I'm right there with you. I love you, ladies, so much. And I will see you guys next week on a brand new episode. So take care. All right, ladies, if you are loving what you are learning on the podcast, I want to invite you to come join my coaching program. This is where we take it to the next level and we actually start applying and learning the how of moving forward. This podcast has taught you the what, and the coaching program is where you're going to learn the how. This is where you learn how to actually start moving forward, process all of that pain that you feel, and let it go once and for all. If you are ready to finally move forward and stop living a life that revolves around your husband's pornography addiction, then I want to invite you to come join me today. Just head to my website, joleneLynn.com, and sign up today. I can't wait to see you there.